Hello, soul friends. This is Miriam, and welcome back to my channel. Today's pick a card reading is all about what are you afraid of? What are you running away from? What are you avoiding? So we're going to be getting into some of that. As far as cards we will be using, remember, no matter your individual beliefs, tarot or oracle reading is your spirit guides coming forward to give you advice, or simply your subconscious mind helping you answer life's ponders. No matter how you look at that, it is healthy and you are in the right place. Okay, I'm gonna grab this. Will be our tarot deck that we use with our oracle cards. It's gonna be just 2 decks we're using. Yes. For group 1, we have the Hearth and this very sparkly citrine stone. 2, we have the Graveyard and this very yellow stone. 3, we have Lady de los Muertes and this gold sheen obsidian. Ooh, there it is. The way it was before, we weren't being able to see it very well. And then the Forgiveness card, and I don't know what this is. Maybe could be Sodalite, could be Angelite. I'm not sure. Okay. So go ahead and pause if you need, and we will see you in your individual readings all about what are you putting off, running from, afraid of. We will see you there. Bye. So group 1, so if you picked the citrine sparkly stone and the Hearth card, we have happiness in our hearts and homes. Okay, so right off the bat, I'm feeling that some of you are avoiding your home. So that could be like avoiding going home from like school, visiting during holidays. It could be like maybe you travel for business and you're working late and not going home because you'd rather just not go home. We're going to read from the guidebook to get some more info on why you picked this card. Okay, the heart of every home, the fire that unites winter's warmth, centers stories, love, and delights. The ancient Romans believed that every home had a heart, and it was the hearth. Where the fire burned, the family gathered for sustenance, communication, and protection. This concept was so important to the culture that there was a huge city hearth, the Vestal Temple, where the fire of the home goddess Vesta burned forever without ever going out. This sacred flame was protected by the soldiers with their very lives should there be an invasion. Okay. The place where the goddess Vesta was honored within every ordinary home was also the hearth, and it is where women prepared food and cooked. Some of the food was always offered back into the fire as an offering to Vesta for her blessings and protection. Often husbands were sent away on military duty for years on end, and their wives were at home. And their wives at home were not just expected to keep the home and often the business running, but to wait for their husbands faithfully and until their return. They prayed to Vesta to ensure their family members' safe return and to keep the fires of love stoked. The saying, "keep the home fires burning," was inspired by this practice. Should the Hearth card appear in your divination, you are being asked to look to your idea of what home and family is for you. Take the time to build up your love fire and have it burning brightly. Make your relationships a priority. If there is a conflict within your home and family, it is time to take concrete steps to address the issue for good. If you are a member of your family is away from home, if you or a member of your family is away from home due to travel or work, know that protection is being given when you get this card. Okay. So for a lot of you, I feel like you're kind of avoiding home in general. I feel like for some, this is like glasses. This is basically like you not wanting to start a family, not wanting to do the whole homemaker thing, not wanting to settle down and get married, not wanting to commit to a partner. I'm sensing that for some. For others, I see you actually like avoiding like your parents, your family home. I am filming this in October, but it is the autumn months. Some people on the eastern side of the United States, I know, do a little extra holiday from college in October. And so some of you might be like, I don't want to go home. Not just college people, just people in general might not want to go home right now. Avoiding that kind of feeling. And let's see other. I feel like there might be one person that's watching that has lack mentality. Like they're like, I'm never going to find a home. I'm never going to find love. I'm never going to find marriage, etc. So there might be more for you in there. But mainly this is like an avoidance of like commitment, an avoidance of home, an avoidance of visiting family, etc. Alrighty then, let's get your tarot. Let's see what else is going on. Yeah, I feel like for some of you, like the college crowd, that this is just, you're having such a good time where you are that you don't want to go backwards and go back to where you just got away from. Totally understandable. Yeah, having fun socializing, that kind of thing. For those of you who are avoiding home in different ways, like if you're traveling a lot, etc., this is also showing similar vibes of like new inspirations, new people, new sights to take in, and it makes you not want to come home to the everyday thing that you deal with at home. 9 of Pentacles. For some of you, that makes you feel like you wished you were single more often, or that you were on your own more often. If you are on your own already, you are pretty content with that at the moment. A card just fell out and then it just fell. Let's go find it. That some of you actually want to be single. You don't want to be stuck in this having to call home all the time and doing that whole commitment thing. What else? If you're avoiding your parents and not coming home to them, it's the same kind of deal. And I feel like with the pages, that like some of you are ignoring the messages that these people are sending. It could be like parents, old friends, people that didn't move out of town, you know, people that are still in the same places where you left them and you feel like you've changed a lot, but they are all pretty much the same. And so that's something that I feel across the board is happening with you. And it's kind of, I feel like it's at least new with this batch of people. If you're like a businessman that sets up families every 5 years. You know, no judgments here to your face. But, you know, if that's going on and whatnot, you know, then this could just be like, this is finally happening with wife number 4 and kid batch number 6. You know what I mean? All right, let's keep going. There's like some random businessman out there who's like, I feel really called out right now. The Hermit. Yeah, you're ducking your calls. It's not like you're like a hermit in the sense that you're isolating entirely from everybody, but you're definitely isolating from this hearth scenario that you're avoiding. Of like calling people back, letting them know what you're doing, taking your sweet time, getting back to them. I feel like you're drowning in messages right now. And let's see what kind of advice your guides have for you in this situation. So like they say intuitively, you already know what you need to do. Like you can't avoid them forever. In a lot of cases, I don't feel like this is actually like a permanent feeling of like, oh, I hate my home and family. I never want to go back. But because you've ducked calls and things for so long, like now it's kind of becoming an anxiety of something, an obligation that you don't want to fulfill. that you don't want to catch up on. But you know deep down the only way to get through it is to do it. And so you're just going to have to call people back, tell them you're sorry that you haven't called, you know, pick a family. You know, if you've got 5 families, you need to whittle that down some. Preferably not by murdering 1 or 2 of those families, you know, or members of that family therein. I watch a lot of true crime. A lot of times when people have like several different families that the other families don't know about, a lot of times murdering them is how they get out of those types of situations. It's, you know, it's bleak business. And I'm not saying any of you guys are murderers yet. I'm just saying that, you know, the only way to do something is to do it, even if it's unpleasant. And so avoiding it forever is not possible. You know this deep down inside. You're going to have to get a hold of these people. So let's go ahead and look and see what happens when you do. What's coming down the road for you? Fear of the future. Are you worried that you're going to be in trouble? You might be a little bit, especially if you got like 5 different families. You know, I'm kidding, but I'm not. That's coming up over and over again. I feel like you've been so busy doing all your other things that like you haven't really thought about these people that have been calling. And the realization of like being behind on a lot of things is really starting to stress you out. Look at that stress vein in this little ghost's forehead. It's so stressed, it's showing right through its sheet. Tisk, tisk, tisk. Look what's happened here. I'm teasing you. I really don't think that it's that big of a deal. Meanwhile, the guy with 8 families is like, not that big of a deal. I do see that you're still not going to act on it yet, though. You're still going to push it off for like another week or so is what it's feeling like, at least, if you have another week. Oof. Because you are feeling so stuck. Ooh, and you're creeping on other people. You're like, you're kind of like watching from afar, like doing damage control, seeing where everybody's at, you know. Are there any passive-aggressive posts? They're like, some people suck at calling you back. And you're like, oh, I wonder if that was about me. Or people with 5 other families they didn't tell you about really suck. It's a real downer, man. You know, that kind of thing. I feel like that's going to be happening for at least another week. You're just torturing yourself now. The people that pick this pile are like, why did I pick this pile? Okay, I am seeing that when you do get a hold of people, you are going to work it out with most of them. Okay, if this is a work situation, you just need to go back to work, class, etc. Just jump back into the swing of it. I just feel like a lot of procrastination vibes and that anxiety that goes along with that. Yes. And I'm not giving you a hard time either, my friends, because I do the exact same thing in pretty much every area of my life. And it sucks every time. Not so much the avoiding, like, I don't have 5 families that I'm trying to keep away from each other, but I'm also not avoiding all 5 of them either. But I do know what it's like to put something off and then worry about it and worry about it. You're just going to have to step into it, bite the bullet, and do it. Okay. Man, I bet you this wasn't fun to hear. What do all those tarot readers say? If you want it sugar-coated, go to a candy store or whatever. Yeah. Anyway, y'all let me know how this was helpful in the comments section, or yell at me, you know, for getting down on you for how you've been. Give me a topic ideas there as well. And if you'd like to book a private reading with me, there are ways to do so in the description box. We will see you in the next one. Take care. Bye. Hello, group 2. So if you picked the graveyard card or the little yellow rock here, unnecessary fear is what's going on with you. Unnecessary fear. I feel like that's very all-encompassing on so many different levels that it's going to make me dizzy trying to think of them all. What is going on in your life that's making you feel afraid unnecessarily? Yeah, like I'm going to throw out an example. I don't actually think this is happening to anybody specific. So if you get called out really hard, I'm just using an example. Sitting around and being afraid about someone not calling you. That's an unnecessary fear. Unless it's like, you know, they owe you $1 million and they really owe it to you. And like, they're just not getting there. That's a little bit different. But somebody just like giving you their time and you actually sitting and fretting about that. Like, oh, why haven't they called? I'm freaking out about it. That would be what I would call an unnecessary fear. That's like the most unnecessary fear I can think of. If you're like, that's what I fear the most, then maybe we should talk. But maybe not about that, and maybe not with me, because I might get a little too spicy for you. Like, why do I feel like I'm in trouble? Because you are. No, I'm just kidding. But you are worried about things that you don't need to be worried about, because the card says unnecessary fear. So some of you might have picked the graveyard image because you're worried about you dying or someone you care about dying. You might worry about everyone dying all the time. I know people like that because they know that that's what we're all leading up to. And so instead of like amping up their anxiety over that and then coming back down again because there's like nothing you can do about it anyway, it just keeps amping up. And I'm like, holy heck, is it ever going to come back down for them? Because if it doesn't, well, not only are they going to drive me crazy, but they're going to drive themselves pretty crazy. And so I feel like in some cases, some of you are dealing with someone that worries about death that much. And in some cases, some of you worry about death that much. Maybe not outwardly or all the time or verbally, but I feel it in your headspace. And I do relate a lot. I wake up and want to scream about the fact that I'm on a rock in the middle of space and I'm hurling through, nothingness, and I don't understand why. And then eventually I'm just going to cease to exist maybe, and it might hurt and be embarrassing all at the same time. And I don't want to deal with that. No one wants to deal with that. But at the same time, I feel like the amped up part isn't coming back down. And that's why you're having such a struggle. What other fears are unnecessary? They're unnecessary fears. You know what they might be better than I do. I keep seeing an office. Gross. Which one of you poor people work in an office? Is that not miserable? And I'm not like, ooh, la-ti-da, I'm so fancy, I don't work in an office. No, that's not the situation I'm in. But I also almost would rather be out on the street than work in an office at this stage in my life. So when I hear about people just going to one every day, I feel bad for them. And it's not like I'm looking down on you. Oof. That's a client. Anyway, where was I here? I think I was saying something like, I'm not like saying anything bad about you as a person. Then I was like saying all kinds of bad things about you as a person. Right. Don't help, John. Anyway. Ooh. Some tarot cards came out for you in the reverse, which would make sense. All right, so I feel like for some of you, man, this is kind of about like somebody not calling you. Gross, you guys, come on, man. Ugh. I hope that wherever you are, you're going, I know. Yeah. Like, it's me. I'm the one that's in the romance. Like, great. Good for you. Stop doing that. Ugh. And I'm not bagging on love. I don't think friendship exists either. I've quoted that twice today. It's 2 different videos I've quoted today. So, anywho. But it's like this idea of like this unnecessary fear of See, Six of Cups is all about being young and idealistic and probably a little bit of an idealistic time where things felt really great. I don't know what that's like. There's been like a time like that in my life. I didn't pay attention. I have no idea. There's probably been pockets of joy like that. Like there was a 2-hour window, 20 years ago where I was like, hey, I feel all right. And then it was gone, Everything just comes back. Just the disappointment of life. But anyway, everybody's like, man, I'm glad I picked this reading. It's a sick desperation in my laugh tonight. I'm still waiting for you guys to start watching movies and telling me which ones I quote in the comment section, but you all never do. It's disappointing. Speaking of disappointments, some of you are disappointed in a person. I'm just going to call it the aloof male vibe of like, he's not calling, he doesn't text you back as soon as you text him back, etc. and so forth. If the genders are swapped, go ahead and swap them. But usually one person out aloofs the other one, right? And generally the most successful couples have a bit of a balance when it comes to that. They definitely don't usually have like a lot of fear mixed up in it. Like the more content people I see walking around don't usually think about like when the last time somebody got back to them was. And that's something that maybe we should all look into adopting. But that being said, I feel like for some of you, it's an unnecessary fear because this feeling that you're going for with this person is either gone for good or it was never there to begin with. Yeesh. Man, these are getting tough. All these people are going to get so mad. You know what? They're your guides, not mine. They're spicy. Plus, the title of this video is like, what are you running away from? I don't think you're going to be running away from like sunshine and rainbows. Like, oh, you're running away from lots of money. Just turn back around and go get it and you'll be fine. Yeah. You'll be all right. No, you just, you gotta do what you gotta do. But I feel a lot of disappointment towards someone. I feel a lot of disappointment in the sense of like feeling like it's dead before it even got off the ground. It died on the vine. Just didn't happen before anything got started. And that you've been grieving that for a long time. And so the fear that you're worried about of like the thing dying, well, you don't need to be afraid for that in this case, because in a lot of cases it's already kind of done and over with or was never really there to begin with. And I feel like deep down inside, you know this to be true, or your guides would not be telling you this bluntly. Or you're in the wrong group. If you're like, man, but I feel like everything's going really well. I don't feel like I'm necessarily afraid of anything. Well, then you probably just need to find a different video or a different group. Yes, remember how I was like, I feel like this. The High Priestess always shows up in my readings because man. It also shows up to tell me that I'm on the right track as well. Because I don't know if I'm right most of the time. Fate. I think a lot of you knew that this... I feel like, okay, if this is like a breakup situation or like the end of a friendship, because friendship doesn't exist either. Like, man, she's so cynical. Dang right I am. Why don't you take a walk in my shoes and figure out why I'm so cynical? Especially when it comes to human beings. But anyway, this person that disappointed you, I feel like you've been grieving something that was never there to begin with. And it's okay that it's not going to work out. It's probably in your better, it's probably in your better business is what I was going to say, which doesn't sound like me. That might have been a guide of yours talking. What else we got? Knight of Swords. Yeah, I feel like you're kind of going to have to eclipse that unnecessary fear and like kind of just accept things for how they are. I don't feel like you're afraid of like what might happen. I feel like you're afraid of looking at what actually already is. It's causing your emotions to go all unstable. And it's causing your mind to feel a little bit crazy inside. It could have caused some of you to text somebody too much. Or like when you finally like had a heart-to-heart with that person, like your words got all jumbled around because like you were finally having this conversation and then it was like, oh, I just lost my train of thought because I got a text and I saw it. And now I'm thinking about my problems and not yours. Hang on. Okay, causing you to go a little bit crazy, causing you to feel like you can't keep your emotions in check, and actually kind of confusing you as to what you even wanted in the first place. Whew. This is definitely feeling mostly romancy right now. What other fears could be unnecessary that you're having? It feels very people-centered, disappointment-centered. Interpersonal relationship center. That's what it feels like. I'm just going to keep on going then. Oof, yes, you've been burdened with this for far too long. You have the tools that you need to get through this as well. You don't need, if this is about a person, my gosh, you do not need someone like this in your life. Do they make you feel good? Or do you feel worried all the time? That's not fun. If you're like, oh, they never call and I'm always worried about what they're thinking and what they're doing. None of that is fun. What are they doing that's so important? If it's not you and that bothers you, then that's a problem. If it's a bothersome thing that you can't get over, that's also a problem. Is it a problem that I think some people should get over and like not break up over it? Yeah, but that's just me being all me. See, Queen of Swords talking about like actually speaking your truth, even if that means that everybody leaves you behind and they're like, we're rejecting you because you said you want to do it this way. You said you don't want to be miserable in this relationship anymore. How dare you? We're out of here. You're giving us bupkis. We're out of here. Are you really losing out that much? Or are you just like getting rid of dead weight? Just a little something to think about. Let's see what else we got here. See, and getting rid of that dead weight just opens up good energy for the stuff that you really want, like that 10 of Cups energy, which I feel like is what most of you want. That's what most people want in relationships, right? Unless you're just like a player. Your idea of a happy relationship is just not having one. But I don't feel like that's the case for most of the people who picked this group. I feel like y'all are after that 10 of Cups BS. It's so gross, you guys. What are you doing? It's relatable, but I still can't. I just can't right now with all you lovebirds. Okay. Cut out the dead weight. Get in the stuff that you actually want in your life. It's for the best. You know who you are. You know what it is. You know what's going on. I hope this was helpful. Give me comments on how it was. Give me topic ideas there as well. If you'd like to book a private reading with me, there's ways to do so in the description box. Take care. You're on your way to new beginnings and good things. We'll see you next time. Hi, group 3. So if you picked the Lady de los Muertos, we have acceptance and equality. Interesting. Okay. What's interesting about this is like the last group also picked like a death kind of card. They picked the graveyard. But that one, the message was unnecessary fear. This is about acceptance and equality. I almost feel like y'all are on the opposite spectrum of like, if there are people out there that are worried about dying or afraid of death, you would be the opposite of that. Interesting. But this is about what are we running away from or avoiding. So I almost feel not like it's a false bravado, because I don't feel like that's what it is. I feel like it's more that you really don't worry about it, but the fact that you don't worry about it kind of takes away from reverence when it does happen, when loss does take place. Okay. So like, I feel like maybe people in this group might be more apt to like laugh about like, morbid jokes, or, you know, being able to joke about, I don't know. Oh, I watch a lot of YouTube. So like I watch a lot of videos about people like who go hiking and then things don't turn out so well for them. Like, some people, when they watch stuff like that, they watch it and like get, I don't know if it's like a release of tension in some cases or why they do it, but sometimes they can like joke about it. And I feel like there might be people in this group that are like that. I also feel like there's like some daredevils here as well. Like driving in fast cars and like partying really hard and like, you know, looking death in the eye and spitting in death's face. Being like, I don't care, yo. Ooh, group 3 is all wild. But I feel like, that it's not so much that you're running or avoiding, or at least you're not consciously doing that, but because you do have that laissez-faire, kind of dark, morbid, maybe even cutthroat at times, like attitude, it can kind of take away from reverence or respect. And sometimes there are times when we need to be serious, and that's okay too. That also shows a strength, that vulnerability can show strength, etc., and so forth. Okay. What else? Ew, I also feel like somebody, this is very specific, has lost a girl that they feel romantic about that's watching this. And you're like pretending it doesn't bother you as bad as it does. Are you laughing at them?
What's up?
I'm like up here doing a reading and I'm like, oh, maybe you're sad about losing somebody, and you just start laughing down there. Like you're laughing. I was like, are you laughing at them? You laughing at their pain, John?
Yes,
You sick man. Don't listen to that callous John. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He knows nothing of loss. That card just came out for you. Yeah, I feel like for some of you, like, oh, and that Nine of Coins kind of goes along with that idea of like somebody that lost a lady friend of some kind. Like, I'm getting some breakup vibes. Or end of, you know, some kind of closeness coming to an end. It doesn't feel entirely platonic. It's like it might have been a friend zoned situation, but like she's gone. Like she left. And I think you know that if this is the specific message that I'm getting for a specific somebody. And it's kind of like what you're avoiding is grieving that, being like, she's gone, y'all. Like, for real though, she's not coming back. And it's more of that whole like, whatever, I'm single, I don't need her, you know, that kind of feeling. But like deep down inside, there's some pain there. So not to call you out, but I am. If you're like, that's never happened to me in my life, well, that's fine. It's a general reading. But I feel like, yeah, like it's too late, you know, with that, that it's too late for you to get that person back kind of energy. I'm also seeing, yeah, that it's feeling very over, and that, you know, she's just going to go be a star someplace else. Okay. And that's eating you up inside, and that's what you're running away from. That was a very specific message for some. And I'll get back to you. The others, the laissez-faire crowd, it's like sometimes it helps healing better if you can accept and show respect and reverence and not always just be such a daredevil, laugh in the face of death, don't take anything too seriously, etc. and so forth, because that can help others around you and help you grow as well. Life is all about balance. What was the other scenario we had going on? I must also get a sense that some of you might, when somebody actually passes away, you try to be the cheerful voice. I do that. I really do. I'm like, let's not all be sad, even though it was a totally tragic deal. like, let's all find a reason to laugh. Like, not always the time. You know what I mean? I feel like, yeah, you'll overcome more if you balance more. Notice how in this particular instance, this person isn't fighting off the other wands. They're just rising above them and like being all zen and cool. I see that as like you rising above certain elements of yourself. Rising above like feeling petty over like, oh yeah, I don't really miss somebody when you really do, that kind of stuff. Yeah, I feel like the less you run from that, the more love you'll feel, and the more love people will feel from you, and you'll just get more enjoyment out of life. I'm going to take these as well. And yeah, you don't have to pick and choose from one extreme to the next. What I'm seeing here with Knight of Coins, Page of Coins, and the Two of Wands is it's like you can have a good balance between being a daredevil, say whatever you feel, break up with somebody and bounce right back. You don't need to go around and wallow. That's all well and good, but like there's also strength in being vulnerable. Like people see right through it anyway. Okay? Even if it was real, they would suspect that it wasn't real because we're all cynical creatures. At least I would be. I'd be like, ugh, he's really acting like he doesn't care. Or she's really acting like it doesn't bother her, but I know it does. If you know, you know. You know? Ooh. Yes, looking at things in a different perspective than you always kind of just knee-jerk to is the good path to enlightenment and will give you a more well-rounded energy around you and others and all that good stuff, opening up new venues of positivity. Yes. Okay, that's all I've got for you. So if this was helpful, give me comments on how it was helpful in the comments section. Give me topic ideas there as well. If you'd like to book a private reading with me, there are ways to do so in the description box. We'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye. Hello, group 4. So if you picked where that blue rock is, you are avoiding or running away from forgiveness, reducing burden. So right off the bat, I'm going to say that if this is about you forgiving someone else for something they did, I'm going to tell you right here, right now, for me, forgiveness is not a choice. And so if you feel like that too, like if you like collectively groaned when you saw that you got that card, maybe you hear from people a lot that you don't forgive fast enough or that you're incapable of forgiving, etc. and so forth. And maybe you can even agree that maybe that's how you are, but you still can't like fake it until you make it, right? And so I feel like for a lot of you, I think this is the case for a lot of people that are trying to forgive or need to forgive something, that it's not about you holding on to something that you can't let go of because of stubbornness or pride or any of those that stupid Sunday school crud that they tell us all the time in cartoons about, oh, you gotta let go of your, oh, it's like taking poison and expecting the other person to die, blah, blah, blah. I get so sick of that Sunday school stuff. I do. And so I'm not going to lecture you about it. I feel like when I get to the point where I know that I need to forgive somebody in order to move on, it's kind of like, I need to accept the reality of the situation, whatever that reality might be, and figure out if there's a way I can let go and move forward. As far as like forgiving that person, man, it could take until hell freezes over, you know? Like, it's just the way I am. I'm not going to like sit there and pretend I feel something that I don't, you know? And I feel like that's the case for a lot of people that might have picked this card. For a few others, I do feel a little duck and cover of like, you know, you screwed up, but you just don't want to deal with like the fallout of like having to be like, yes, you caught me being a terrible person and I'd prefer to be forgiven, not deal with this anymore. But at the same time, it's like, you also don't want to have to like take any heat, talk about it. I get it. I don't like apologizing either, but those are the two main energies that I'm getting. Are there other things I need to think about? All I'm thinking about right now is that glare of that light on that card is bothering me. But other than that, forgiveness. Something just popped into my mind of like, has anyone ever forgiven you when you didn't ask them? They're like, I forgive you. And you're like, for what? And they're like, you know why. Like, no, actually I don't. Or like, maybe you do know why they're saying that, but you don't agree with them. I feel that in some cases as well. Interesting. The thing with forgiveness with me is that it's so triggery in that, you know, somebody does you wrong and then you're the one that gets pressured to like make it all better. It makes me want to vomit. Okay. Yes. There's some definite truth here of you getting messed over, of somebody owing you an apology. Somebody caused a lot of imbalance in your life. And you have every right to speak that disappointment. You have every right to defend yourself, to make new plans, new partnerships. What else is happening here? Sorry, my table is just all over the place. And I'm just not even trying to keep track of it anymore. Eesh, okay. I feel like for some of you, the forgiveness will happen between you and another person. You're going to work it out. I feel like that's a non-romantic connection. Like between family, possibly between like mother and daughter, parent and child kind of stuff. But other than that, like, I don't see the relationship like carrying forward with like you being like, oh yeah, I forgave them so much that like we still hang out now. Like, I don't see that happening. I feel like the truth is the truth. And some of you might already even be like in complete separation with the person or persons that you need to forgive. But, or like out of touch with the people who you wish would forgive you. But the truth is out. Like, everybody knows what the truth is in all of these situations. That is clear to me. In some cases, it's going to work out and you're going to heal and make up with this person. In a lot of other cases, it's already kind of over. And it's just a matter of moving forward and accepting like how we feel about it. This table is legit driving me nuts. Okay. Oh my God. Oh, I'm getting so mad. Okay. I need to forgive my table for not staying put. Oh, yes. Good new things are coming in, though. In light of this. And, like, yeah, I feel like deep down inside, you know exactly where you are in this situation. You know who needs to be forgiven, if it's you or somebody else. I don't see you beating yourself up over this if you're in the camp of people who are like, it's going to happen when it happens. I do feel like most of you, though, are trying to move forward at least as best as you can. Either with new relationships or new inspirations. New inspirations. The Hermit card is down there. Hang on. to like take a break before I started screaming. That card hopped away from me in the most inconvenient way possible. So yeah, I see like with the forgiveness piece as well, if not so much you like publicly forgiving anything, but just moving forward with your own life, like letting go of the anger, letting go of the resentment, of not letting go of the fact that it's a resentful thing, but the letting go of thinking about it all day long to the point where it actually affects your mood. That part I feel leaving you, which is great. And that's basically where forgiveness starts, at least for me. Okay, some fear of the future. I feel like there's some trust issues now with some people. Yep, worrying about ever trusting anyone again, worrying about ever putting yourself out there again, ever forgiving anyone again, etc. and so forth. You don't have to like tell them you forgive them. That's the other part that's nice. I don't lie to their face and be like, I don't forgive you. To the other place with you. And you will get justice. So people are going to get their just desserts in this situation. Oof, what else? Aw. And yeah, it's going to open up new things. Like you forgiving and moving forward isn't going to necessarily mend you with that person, but it is going to mend your heart. And there's no rush. It's just what you're working on right now, and it's okay. This is a bonus card that I get. You've got a lot of little partnership cards here. The Lovers, the Two of Cups, and then this is kind of like Two of Cups and the Lovers to me, which is why I leave it in the deck. New plans coming through well. And some of you may get an apology, and in that case, I feel like some of you want to have that apology, want to mend those fences. So, you know, if you want to mend fences, the option is there, but you don't have to in order to get that forgiveness juice that you need. Yeah, you call the shots. You're the one in control of this. All right. I hope this was helpful. If it was, tell me how in the comments section. Give me topic ideas there as well. And as always, if you'd like to book a private reading with me, you can get a hold of me in the description box. There's a couple of different ways. We will see you in the next one, my friends. Take care. Bye.